Hey everybody, it's Libby again with Fearlessness. What is fearlessness? It's the underlying grit that empowers us to forge ahead even when hope seems distant. It's the courage to walk through those fires of hell knowing we'll come out stronger on the other side. Stay tuned and learn how to get fearlessness. I'm Libby, your host, and today we have a guest, and I'm going to let him introduce himself. Go for it.
All right. My name is Marvin Salcido, and I am a serial entrepreneur out of a little bitty town called Tyler, Texas. And I do everything from lawn maintenance, landscaping, and fertilization, weed control, basically everything in the green space. And then we recently expanded our company and added home remodeling, housekeeping, garage doors, and HVAC services. And then I also have a mechanic shop and a hot rod restoration company, as well as a small real estate company. And then I do business coaching, and I absolutely love working with small businesses, helping them to grow their companies. And they can learn from all the mistakes that I have made in business and hopefully not have to go through that same headache and heartache themselves. And so, yeah, that's who I am.
So what better guest to have on Fearlessness, where we talk about struggles, the stress, the mistakes, than Marvin. How many exactly companies are? Is it like 17, I thought you said?
So
not company,
technically,
well, okay. 17 divisions? Because you have them all under one umbrella.
They're all under one umbrella. Well, the mechanic shop and the hot rod restoration company, those are all separate. But it's 10 different divisions under one umbrella, and then we're adding more as we go, as time goes on.
Awesome.
So I'm actively looking for an electrical company and a plumbing company to buy out and take over.
You know, what's the end game? What are you trying to achieve is I guess, a great question. Because you just were very specific in what you were looking for.
Yeah, so I've thought a lot about that over the last few years, because originally my end goal was to just create this monster that just printed money, and which I think would be a fabulous goal, and I think I'll get there within the next 8 years or so. My ultimate goal, though, is to hit right around 100 million, and then probably sell off
You're going to look at my phone.
And $100 million CEO. I remember seeing that last time I was with you. Yeah, absolutely. So get to 100 million and then sell it to private equity or to another firm that wants to buy us out, and then exit and then create generational wealth. And then, just build my own little empire privately, whether that's through real estate, something that can just print money for me, and I'll never have to work another day in my life. And then I can go and do what I really love to do, and I can pick and choose, and that's coach and consult. And, if there's a company that needs help and they can't really afford me, then I will be in a financial place that, I'll be like, hey, let me help you out. And then jump in there, get in the thick of it with them, and help them do something great.
So I laugh inside when you said, so I never have to work again, because like you're never going to work again.
I'll never stop.
So many ways to go on
but
this. I love the
have to.
Well, it's a different have to, because you're going to have to keep yourself sane and happy, right?
Very true.
It's a different have to.
Very true.
So, I have a mentor, Dan Martell, and he has a statement about empire, right? What is an empire? And so I feel like it's a great topic because it's different to everybody, right? Sometimes it's wealth, sometimes it's happiness, like happiness, health, wealth. Sometimes it's assets. Like, everyone's version of building that empire is different. And he has a statement, and it's that he wants to build an empire, or he wants to build a life that he never wants to retire from.
That's good. I like that.
So I like that because
that's really good.
He never has to retire from.
Yeah,
it's great because it encompasses everything that you just said, right? You still want to work, but you don't have to retire from it. And then
Mm.
in the SaaS world, they talk about, and I started to look at my home service company this way. They talk about it's not about how much money can you make. It's about how fast can you make the money. Because if you focus on how fast can you make it, like your CAC, your customer acquisition cost, the life cycle when it comes to marketing, the payback period, um, how fast can you deliver the service? How fast can you invoice for the service? With SaaS, it's about how fast
Mm.
can you make the money. It's not how much can you make, because once you get down how fast can you make it, that turns into the money making machine.
Yeah,
Um, so
that's interesting. I was having a conversation with a good friend of both of ours, Jonathan Potoshnik, and he was talking about in the service world, if we started looking at our clients the way an investor looks at clients rather than the way a business owner looks at clients, we would spend more money acquiring clients than a business owner typically would, because we're looking at the end game, looking at that in mind rather than today's world. And so if I can go in and long term, those clients are going to be worth, when I exit, let's say, $600 or $700 a piece. Well, why wouldn't I pay up to, say, $500 a client? Whereas in our world, maybe it makes more sense for us to spend up to 100 or 150, maybe $200 a client to acquire them, but look at it as an investor, not an owner, and you start playing the game a little differently.
yeah, I think really being in that SaaS world, that software world, they're huge on like the CAC payback period, which is our customer acquisition payback period,
Mm-hmm.
which means how long is it until realized revenue hits? So how long is it from when I market to when I actually have the money in my bank account? And I don't think we look at it in service that way, because if we did, we would be willing to spend more money.
Yeah.
But industry terms, especially in cleaning, say, oh, I can only pay $250 per recurring customer, so I can't spend any more than that. Or
But they're
I'm
looking at it as an owner,
overspending.
not an investor.
Yeah. Or I'm overspending. So
Mm-hmm.
it's a great topic. I think that I love both of them, especially, the empire, the customer acquisition cost and spending money. So out of all the businesses, out of all the services, what's your favorite? And it
Man,
doesn't
I
have to
tell you,
be
I
like
really
favorite mean
love,
like maybe ease or
yeah.
profitability, so
So
that
I
we don't
love
upset.
so I love my hot rod restoration company, but it's more of a hobby that I get paid for. And I mean, I don't make a ton of money off of it, but I love that artistic side of it. So it's very pleasing. It's very fulfilling to watch my guys out there and just see them create something out of nothing. And so, as far as my favorite goes, I really love the Hot Rod Restoration Company, but I really love.
Hey, everybody. Got a quick question for you. Is your job easy, stress free, and full of rainbows and sunshine every single day? Yeah, I'd say that's a big fat no. Hi, I'm David Noe, host of Speakeasy HR, presented by Payroll Partners, and proud to be part of the Work Defined community. Take a step down into my Speakeasy live on LinkedIn and YouTube, where we tackle HR and business challenges through raw, uncut, unfiltered conversations. This is HR like you've never heard it before, bold, real, and full of practical takeaways. Real guests, bold insights, authentic conversations that drive change. Catch every episode on demand through your favorite podcast platform or all the content at speakeasyhr.com.
My service companies. I mean, because they just you kind of get that instant gratification as well whenever you go in and you solve somebody's problem right then and there, whether it's mowing the yard or cleaning the house or whatever. And it looked horrible before. You go in, you fix it, you solve it, and man, it looks great afterwards. But we've been able to, as far as on the business side of that, we've learned throughout the years how to fine tune it, and we've gotten it to where it makes really good money in the margins that we have in what a lot of companies out there is their loss leader, lawn maintenance. We actually make really, really good money on lawn maintenance. and that's just simply through fine tuning our routes and making sure that, we're all the systems and processes that everybody should be doing that they typically don't do. We're actually implementing them, following through, making sure they're being done. And it's paid off in droves. I mean, it's not unrealistic for us to hit 20-25% net in something that a lot of companies, they're hoping to break even.
Yeah.
And we're doing 20-25% net consistently.
I think it's really, really important, like the systems and processes. That's my jam, creating them. But I think that people, I just gave a presentation about this. I'm coining a new term. I'm coining micro playbooks. I've always talked about playbooks. Micro is because that's the way our employees consume it. It's more of the TikTok style. So I have it down to, it should be this many words, this many, like this much long of a read. If there's an accompanying video, it can only be under so many seconds, because we've done that and it's worked really well for us. And it's really changed a lot of things, and it makes you more profitable because there's less confusion, less questions. So it's less downtime or dead time. And I think people get scared because they don't want to take the time to make them, because they're like, oh, I don't have time. So how am I going to have time to stop and make them? Or I don't know where to start. So it's definitely a struggle for a lot of people, especially entrepreneurs, because, we're all a little sparkly in our brains. So I have another question for you. We're going to get into acquisition, because I ask a lot of people questions more about like biggest struggles, failures, how do you handle the stress? But I want to get into the acquisition side, because that's what Marvin specializes in, and actually in his coaching and consulting. He's known, and he goes around and speaks on this topic. And what would you say is like the biggest mistake you made in acquiring a company?
Every single time, without fail, that I have made a decision, an acquisition decision based on emotion, it's cost me money every single time. And so I've had to learn throughout the years to take the emotion out of it and look just at the facts. And if the facts don't support the numbers, the facts don't support their asking price or whatever it may be, then you have to maintain your walkaway power and be willing to walk away from the deal, even if it's all the way at the closing table. Because I years and years and years ago, this is probably 10, 15 years ago, we used to have a division over in Dallas, which is about 90 miles from here. And we were having some troubles with some management. And so we decided that we were going to buy some management by buying out another company. And we went in, we looked at this company. It seemed to be a great deal. It was going to solve a couple of problems for us. It was an irrigation company. And so it was going to, help us on our irrigation side of things. Plus, it was going to give us some on-site management, and there was a bookkeeper, and, so it was going to be, great solve for us. So looking at the numbers, we noticed a trend that his numbers went down and down and down over the last 5 years. And so I talked with the owner and trying to figure out what's going on. And he explained it away as, well, he was getting ready to retire, so he kind of took his foot off the gas and stopped advertising. And so it's just kind of trailed down. I was like, okay, yeah, I can see that. And so I talked myself into it. And then I kept asking him for the final set of books, the year prior to us.
Hey everybody, Tim Sackett, host of HR Famous, a new podcast on the Work Defined Network. Am I famous? No, I'm HR famous. My wife says I'm a micro celebrity, and 13 HR ladies around the world want their picture with me, which I think is funny. So, hey, what do we talk about on the pod? We talk about all the dumb stuff we do in HR in any given day, week, month, and we have fun with it, and we have some great guests. Come check us out. We're not famous. We're HR famous.
Buying the company, and he did not give us the final set of books until the closing table. And that, first of all, should have been a red flag. But second of all, I'm looking at the books, and what he sold us as a $800,000 a year business that had gone down a little bit. Well, actually, it had gone down quite a bit, but it went from like 800 to 600 to 500 to 300, and then the year prior, it was at like 130,000 or something like that. I don't remember all the figures, but it was really low, and I was like, "Wow, what?" Yeah, and I'm trying to justify it in my mind, and I talked myself into it because I was already emotionally
Yeah.
bought into buying this company, that it was going to solve our management problem, it was going to solve our irrigation problem, and I went ahead and signed the deal, and we ended up shutting that company down within 6 months, because it was too far gone, and we had overpaid for it, and we were bleeding, we were just pissing away money. And turns out it was going to be cheaper for us to close it down and make zero revenue over there and just make the payment to the bank than it was to continue on and just bleed money. And so that's what we ended up doing. We shut it down, killed that whole entire department, and just paid the bank off. And so, I mean, it cost me over $250,000.
That's a big, almost probably, like, at least from my perspective, if I had to go through that, a big ego pill to swallow, to have to close it down and face the fact that, like, I got to close it.
It was a
and I'd
ridiculously hard decision.
rather just pay the payment. So, like, yeah.
Well, I'm the eternal optimist. Oh, I can fix this. I can go in and we can change this and we can do this, and I can fix it. Well, I couldn't fix this. I mean,
So
it
are
was just,
all owners. That's why I feel like we shouldn't be doing interviewing. That's a whole other topic, because we want to fix everybody or save everybody.
Yeah.
So, hearing how you said take out the emotion and, you're letting the numbers speak. I think sometimes, well, I know we are all risk junkies. We love the feeling that it gives us. And sometimes we know it's a bad decision.
It's a dopamine high.
Like, we know it's a bad decision, but we kind of still do it, because what's that risk, even though it's a bad one. A lot of business owners do it because they like the feeling of being alive. They like the feeling it gives them.
Yeah.
And sometimes we do it just for the feeling, subconsciously not knowing it. I did not come up with this theory. I heard someone teach on it. That we do it.
That's right.
And we'll
First
even
time you heard it. Second time you say, "Hey, as I always say," or no, you speak it and you reference the first person. Third time you say, "As I always say." By the fourth time, it's your saying. So
okay. But as you look back, or you consult, even if we consult other peers or people for advice on, like, the risk we're going to take, and they give us a perspective and we still do it, it's because we're looking for that feeling. Sometimes we're looking to feel alive, or maybe we're bored in our current company. And it's such an interesting thing that we do as entrepreneurs. We want to save it. We want to fix it. It makes us feel good. And then we beat ourselves up when it doesn't go well.
Yeah. No, it's tough. It definitely is. But like you said, they're chasing the dopamine high, and I can fix it. I can make it better. And sometimes it's better just to shut it down and admit defeat.
Yeah. I think as I've gotten older, I don't need the dopamine high as much anymore.
Yeah.
It's settled, and it's kind of like, oh my God, I'm too tired to try to fix this. It's kind of where I'm at now.
Our dopamine highs are a lot bigger, because we're chasing selling a company or building $100 million empire. Your dopamine high is really big, and then when you sell that, or you hit that goal, then that's huge. And so it's just, our highs are different now.
Yeah. So looking back, when you first started this journey, right? Because you started in the green industry, right? Is that your original company?
I did.
So looking back to when you first started,
I've had several.
Oh, you have?
I have. Yeah, I built my very first one up in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and I sold it off to a guy that still owes me like $850. Uh, he's a brother-in-law, I think. Anyway,
A
um,
brother-in-law.
and then I started another company. I've started several companies that never even made it off the ground. Um, and then built a company up, merged with another guy. We grew it really big, and that was a company I left in 2016. Um, and then I started over in October 2016, and I've rebuilt from there. So, no, I've had several over the
And
years.
so I know that you're also big into partners, or you're okay with going into partners with people. Um, what's the one thing that you would share with other people about partnering?
So,
Like
I
the
used to be
biggest
of the mindset
mistake
that,
that you've made when it
yeah,
comes to,
so
or advice.
yeah, because I've had a really, really bad partnership before that. I mean, it went toxic, and it almost destroyed my life. I almost lost my marriage over it. Almost lost. I got super depressed. Like it was really, really, really bad. Um, and I used to be of the mindset the only ship that doesn't sail is a partnership. That's what Dave Ramsey always says. But the more I've gotten into it, the more I realize that partnerships they can be amazing. Like they can
Mm.
really work. But what I've seen is that partnerships either really work or they really don't. You never hear anybody right in the middle like, my partner, he's okay. No, they either love him or they hate him. But the biggest thing that I've seen is you have to have lots of clarity. You have to be willing to talk through stuff. You need a good partnership agreement. And that partnership agreement needs to be a living, breathing document. A lot of people think that, well, we started our partnership 5 years ago. We have a partnership agreement and that's it for until the end of time. Well, your business is not the same as it was 5 years ago when you partnered up. Your business has grown or it's shrunk. Your roles have changed in the business, and that should be renegotiated. That should change. Your partnership should be readjusted to accommodate the growth or the decline. It should be adjusted to accommodate the different roles that you've taken on in the business, or if you've taken on more responsibility or have given more responsibility away, it needs to be renegotiated. And I think that partnership agreements should be renegotiated every year or two at the most, because your businesses change. And especially in this crazy world that we live in now, they change fast. I mean, crap, in 2020, you could start a service business up and you could scale to $1 million really fast because they were giving money away at such a massive rate. People were just spending money out into the market. And now money's not flowing the same way it was. And so a lot of those people that were riding that high
They're like,
are
what's wrong?
now having to
It's
go
hard to
back.
get a
My
customer.
business is not. Nobody calls. Nobody.
It's
Well, no, they're not. You
it's
have
settled
to
back into
advertise. You
normal.
have
Like, yeah.
it has. It has. And then, so they were riding that wave and that wave crashed. And now they're having to go in and try and figure out the business side of business.
No, you actually have to
And,
work now.
you
To
actually
get
have to work.
you
Yeah,
you actually have to work to get a lead and spend money in marketing.
you do. And so it's, they're not just handing them out anymore. It was great back then. I rode the high too, but we're those of us that have adapted or readapted back to how things were are going to be the ones that come out on top here in the next year or two after this recession settles and things go back to normal, whatever normal is. Those of us that come out on the other side are going to be stronger for it. But I mean, I'm seeing people fail left and right, businesses left and right. I've had multiple people come to me and say, "Hey, will you buy us out? We can't do this anymore." And, we'll go into negotiations, talk back and forth, and we either come to an agreement or we don't. But I was talking with a local landscape company, and he's like, I'm tired. I can't do it anymore. And, we've taken it as far as we can, and I commended him for it. I mean, he had done some good stuff, but he wasn't adapting the way that he needed to, and it's showing up now. And I was like, look, if you want to save this, I can help you save it. I can coach you. I can help you get headed in the right direction. Or here's my offer to buy you out. And he chose option C, which was just continue looking. So
Yeah.
that's his choice. More power to him. But you have to adapt. You have to be nimble and be able to make decisions on the fly. And what worked in advertising 2 years ago doesn't work today. Or does that mean that I've heard some people, well, I tried Facebook. Facebook doesn't work.
It's hard.
Yeah, it does. It is hard. But I get tons of leads from Facebook. Tons of leads from Facebook.
So
Good quality leads. But it's a long-term play. I can't just throw one ad out one time, throw $40 behind it, and that's going to magically solve my business. No, I'm spending hundreds and hundreds and thousands of dollars a month on Facebook. And we don't just put one ad out there. We're putting multiple ads, and we're changing and adapting and putting new stuff out there and keeping it fresh and alive. And not everything we do is a sell. People don't like to be sold to, but people absolutely love to buy. So if you can go in, you can show your value, then they want to buy from you, and they will buy from you, but you have to prove your value first.
So inside one of the groups I'm in, he always brings in other mentors to come teach us. And so he's brought in, her name is April Dunford, and she's all about sales, but she's more about sales from a positioning standpoint. And I think there's so many things that happened. I want to go back to the partnership, but I wanted to talk about our positioning in the home service space has changed because of the COVID influx of money. We were positioned to like sell and raise our prices, and we were like, this was our positioning. But now that's over, and we have to rethink that positioning. And positioning is nothing different than like the Stanley Cup, right? It's the same cup. They're just talking about it in a different way. It's the same thing as a bran muffin versus like a gluten-free, paleo-friendly breakfast bar. Same thing. They're just repositioning the way they talk about it to make it attractive to the current market. But one of the things she says all the time in her books is selling isn't hard. Buying is hard because there's so many choices. We need to be their guide on the journey and inform them and educate them versus trying to sell to them.
Yeah. And I've done entire educational videos for our market, teaching people how to find a good landscaper. Whether or not they use me, I don't care. There's enough grass out there for everybody. But
that's funny.
Hey, this is what you want to look for. This is how you find a good landscaper. And are they licensed? Do they have insurance? Do they have workman's comp? Do they have, do they train their employees? Do they have good equipment? Are they reliable? Do they give you a quote, or is it just, randomly prices are going to change? And just teaching people the signs of what to look for in a good landscaper. And you know what? I got quite a few leads off of that. I got quite a few clients just from that video, and there was zero sell. None.
Yeah.
Like, I think my entire sales pitch at the very end was, hey, if y'all need some help, give me a shout. I'd love to help you out. That's it. That's my whole sell. Beyond that, I'm just putting value out there, helping people out.
We do one educational video a week and organize it about cleaning and organizing. And that gets us tons of traction. And it's purely teaching. Like last week, mine was the difference between when someone asks for a cleaning company on Facebook in a Facebook group. And I actually shared the snippet of the question and some of the responses, I'm $85 and this person's $200. And why is it different? So I explained why it's different from an $85 individual solo cleaner, and they have their place, and a company that's charging you $200 for the same thing, and they have their place.
Yeah.
We got a ton of traction off that one video, and all I simply did was break down why it's more expensive and where do the costs go. Because I don't think people understand it, especially in the home service. They don't really understand the cost that are incorporated, but also the protection. As we get older and we have more assets to protect, I kind of want to choose that safer bet that has insurance and workman's comp. They can't come after me or my businesses if they get hurt on my property.
Yeah.
Versus when I was younger and 20, sure, I didn't have a lot of assets to protect. So an $85 cleaner was great for me at that time.
Yeah, but a lot of people don't realize that when you hire a service company and you hire Chuck in a truck and they come out, yeah, they're cheaper. They're gonna be
Hmm.
cheaper. They don't have nearly as much overhead. They probably are not insured. Matter of fact, I know they're not insured. They're very just fly by night. They throw some sort of price out there. They don't know their numbers, and if he falls or she falls while she's cleaning, they can sue you personally.
Hmm.
And because it happened on your property, even if they're a hired hand, somebody that you hired in to do some work for you, they can sue you personally. But that's one of the reasons why we carry workman's comp. Because if it, God forbid, somebody gets hurt, and I've had employees get hurt. I had an employee accidentally fall off a roof one time, and he busted his ankle, and nothing happened to the client, nothing at all. My workman's comp immediately took that over, and it compensated the employee. We paid for all his medical bills. We made sure he was taken care of, paid time off, all that kind of good stuff. And life continued on. But had we not had that stuff in place, and for whatever reason that employee got a stray hair, they could have gone after that homeowner personally. And so this is just a protection. And yes, we are more expensive, but we are more expensive so that we can help protect you as a client. So yeah, and then absolutely, I'm right there with you.
So I love the partnership about it needs to be renegotiated every 2 years. So I used to have a partner in WootRecruit. We're still great friends, but it
Yeah.
did evolve over time, and our job shifted, and we noticed that like we were not working the same amount or the same things. And it's a great tip to renegotiate it, to have that partnership agreement. Someone, and I don't know who said this quote, but it was all partnerships, 100% of partnerships end in divorce. 100% of
Yeah.
business partnerships end in divorce, and 50% of marriages end in divorce. And the reason they said that is because you either sell the company, you buy them out, or you die.
Yeah.
So 100%
Yeah.
of business partnerships end. And that's because
One
the
way or
company,
another, they will end.
yeah. And that is because one of you will die, because you won't die at the same time. One of you guys will buy each other out, or you'll sell the company. So there's 100% of them in. And I never thought about it like that. And I think that there's such a big space. I'm trying to talk somebody into doing this for like fractional business partner therapy, like a third person, a third party that is non-biased, that can help talk through things or ask questions, like a therapist, but for business partners.
Yeah.
Because like you said, they're either
Great idea.
great or they're horrible. But sometimes you don't
You
have,
never hear about mediocre partnerships.
no, but you don't have that third party to kind of help you work through things, talk through them. Typically people feel defensive or picked on.
Mm-hmm.
I was lucky that when we dissolved our partnership, I had a COO who was that person, helped both of us through it, or otherwise it probably wouldn't have ended well, because you do get emotional, you do get attached.
Yeah.
And he was so great how he helped us through that, walked us through it, made sure that we were all comfortable, okay, and all on the same page.
That's awesome.
And it didn't burn me because I still have partners. I'm partners with Joel and Rick from Deep Lawn. We're partnered in Service Cart. Yeah. So it didn't burn me. I just learned my lesson.
I bet you did things a little different second time around.
Yeah. So I have another question for you. Knowing what you know now, what would you have done differently? We talked about this before we even started recording. Like, oh my God, we would be millionaires, 100 millionaires by now.
Yeah. What would I have done differently?
Like the younger version of you.
I think I would tell my younger self to know my worth, charge what I'm worth, and advertise. I remember 21 years ago, when I first started my first business, I thought I couldn't afford to advertise.
Can't afford not to.
You can't afford not to. I mean, people are not, and I tell people this in my business coaching all the time, People are not going to magically conjure up your phone number when they need your help. If you don't tell people about you, they are not going to know about you. And I worked with one guy, and for 9 months, he argued with me about advertising. And finally, I was like, dude, what the crap are you paying me for if you're not going to listen to what I say? Please just go put an ad out there, push it out there into the market, and do something. I was at a conference last week, and they said even bad marketing is better than no marketing.
Oh
Getting
yeah.
some traction, something out there in the market. And I was like, put something out there. He put an ad out there on Facebook, and he called me up. He was so excited. He's like, Coach, they're calling. I was like, that's what I've been telling you for 9 months. 9 months I've been telling you this. All you have to do is tell people about yourself. I mean, it's not all you have to do, but you got to tell people about yourself. And that's what that's what we started doing. We started attracting more clients. But they're not just giving clients away like they were in 2020. You have to go out and find them.
Well, I think you have to find them, but also they want more value for the same money. Right?
Yeah.
So
And so you
that
got to
doesn't,
provide that value or show them the value that you do provide.
or that does not mean discount your service, people.
No.
Value, they want more value. So, and that's hard for companies now to adjust from, like, the leads are falling in my lap, I can't close them fast enough, I don't have enough staff, to, oh crap, like, they're shopping around now, they want more value for their money. So
Mm-hmm.
learning how to do that, you can do that through your customer service, through, like, answering the phone. Imagine that. By you answering the phone is providing
Yeah.
value.
I can't tell you how many times we get calls and people are like, you're like the 9th company I've called and you are the only one to answer the phone.
So for all of
How is
our
that even
entrepreneurs,
possible?
small businesses out there, I'm in Oklahoma right now. That's why I'm in a different setting. And my sister is helping launch another location. She's kind of doing some of the investigating for me. And so she called cleaning companies in, let's see, like 4 different areas, like the Tulsa area, more over by Durant, more over here in the Paris area. And then she did another area. I don't remember which one it was. And she goes, she was reviewing and she's I wanted pricing for what all the cleaning companies charge in the areas. I wanted all the pricing. And she goes, nobody answered their freaking phone. Like, nobody. She goes, out of like all the companies I called, one lady gave me a quote over the phone and answered her phone. She goes, a couple of them said, oh, I need to schedule an in-home consultation. We have to come look at the property. And then she goes, then the rest, no answer, no callback. She goes, you couldn't get a hold of nobody. And I think sometimes that difference between when we said a solopreneur versus a company, that's also one of the differences as the consumer is you guys complain about the quality of the work, or they won't answer the phone, or they can't get a hold of nobody, but you're paying the $85 cleaner. And that's what comes with it. And I understand it because I was once the $85 cleaner. But when you have to staff an office or schedulers, that's also why it's more expensive. We answer the phone. But to the solopreneurs out there, just answering your phone alone or responding to voicemails would really help too as well, especially for paying for marketing. If you're paying for marketing, please do that, or you will bleed money and you will die, because it is a slow death, but you can't sustain it if you're paying for marketing, but you're not answering the phone.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, why are you paying for these leads if you're not going to respond, not going to answer the phone, not going to respond back to them? You might as well just take $100 bills outside and burn them. I mean, that's all you're doing. You're just burning money. Don't waste your money. Capture these leads, talk to these people, get quotes back to them in a reasonable amount of time. Like, it should not take weeks or months to get quotes back. I bought a company out one time, and the process, that was one of the first things I had to change, was the process of how they put quotes together. And it would take weeks and weeks and weeks for them to get a quote back to somebody. And it's like this, no, these leads are stale by the time you get back to them. They're calling in to get their yard mowed, and it's going to take you 4 weeks to
Imagine
just
how high
call
that
them.
grass is in 4 weeks.
Oh my gosh. They hired somebody 3 weeks ago. By the time you call them back, I've wasted all this marketing money. And I mean, why? Why are we doing this?
Well,
And so
that
we had
goes,
to change that process so that we could shorten the timeline and get quotes back to people in hours rather than days. And it
because,
massively changed everything.
but that goes back to my original statement when we first started was it's not how much money can I make, right? It's how fast can I make it?
Mm-hmm.
And that is kind of like, we don't think about it that in that way enough, because again, that's a SaaS term. It's a software term. But essentially, our service businesses are SaaSes. I'm calling them services as a service. They operate the exact same way. It's so interesting, but it's not how much money can we make, because I know $17 or $20 million lawn care companies, right? It doesn't matter. You can make as much money as you can dream up. It's how fast can we make it?
Yeah.
Because if we can't make it back, we're paying office staff, admin staff, marketing, and you can't make it back fast enough, you won't have enough money left.
Yeah.
So before we wrap up, my last question is, what's in the future? What you got cooking? Anything exciting?
So I've got a couple of companies I'm looking at buying out right now.
So I did tell Marvin that
talks with both of them. Go ahead.
I think I was going to give him an intervention so he'd stop buying companies. Last time I saw you in Atlanta, I think we need to give you an intervention.
Yeah, it's in my blood. I can't help it.
I also said I needed to fight you over the coolest hat.
Hey, this actually wasn't the hat I wore in today. I brought this just for this podcast. So
okay.
No, I've got a couple of businesses I'm looking at buying out. Got another 1 or 2 companies that I want to start, but I'm looking for the right partners to partner up with those. Because I'm a visionary. I'm not a integration person, and so I need an integrator. So I need that key partnership so that we can kick those off. And meanwhile, I'm actively growing my current companies. But what I was going to say, what frees me up to be able to look and chase these other companies down is I have amazing people that work for me, and so I don't have to worry about things at home when I'm out, working or chasing leads down or talking with these companies. Matter of fact, I was talking with my director the other day, and I was telling her about a couple of companies that I want to buy. And she told me, she said, "Hey, I got it here. So if you need to go." And I don't have to worry about anything. I mean, I was just gone for a week, and I got 0 phone calls while I was gone. Like, I don't have to worry about anything. Now, I'll touch base with my team and make sure everything's headed in the right direction, but they're not escalating problems to me. If a problem ever gets escalated to my lap, it's a big deal, and somebody's not going to be happy. So
Absolutely.
they usually take care of it before it gets to me.
Awesome. So we'll make sure to put information about Marvin in the show notes. So if you guys want to reach out to him, you can definitely get in contact with him. I want to thank everybody so much for listening. If you want to find more podcasts, you can visit libbyd.com. And so guys, that is a wrap for today's journey into fearlessness. Remember, every step we take, well, I messed that up. I was like, they can edit it out.
Got that tagline. Start over.
Remember, every step we take is a step forward in our strength and into our journey. Keep walking through those fires, because on the other side lies a version of ourselves that's unstoppable. I'm Libby, reminding you to embrace your fearlessness. Until next time, stay brave, stay strong, stay bold, and keep pushing forward.